We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from awesome Park City, Utah.
Today, Jill and I talk about how Zoom cities are the present and the future. We'll define what they are. It should be pretty self-explanatory, and why, after talking to a lot of people on other people's podcasts and other real estate professionals and credible sources, I think it's one of the positive things that's going to come out of this COVID thing.
I would argue that we're sitting in a Zoom city.
That's what this show's about. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about Park City, Utah, and why this might be one of the ultimate Zoom cities.
But don't come, you won't like it.
I haven't gotten that from bartenders and stuff. In Phoenix, everybody used to say, it's terrible. I got to Phoenix in 1994.
That's like Seattle. Seattle used to be that way. They used to say, everybody used to worry about the weather, and they'd be like, everybody would say, oh, it's not that bad. And then you go, maybe we'll look at this for a retirement location. And then they follow up with, oh, you wouldn't like it.
It's the exact opposite here.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone say,
I'm going to start
you're
telling
from
people.
Los Angeles, you should never, please don't move here.
Yeah, right.
Not a single person has said that. Have you heard that?
No, that's true.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Joseph wrote, hi all. I'm looking at purchasing 2 properties in a state that starts with an M.
I think you can say Maine. I think you can say
I wasn't
Maine,
sure. Okay. Here's what's happened. I've a couple times I've shared some stuff and I'm like, I wish I hadn't shared that. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, seriously. So I was just being cautious. All right, so we'll just say Maine.
Well, now you got to tell us what you shared.
It's a bigger state.
What do you regret sharing?
Some
Joe?
counties, some specific stuff in counties. I'm like, shucks. Anyway, the issue I'm having, but it's like to the planet. I'll share it with our people all day long.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why we have such a small community.
I understand.
I mean, and that's truth time. In our community, I'm going to share everything. And I still share like big picture stuff, but I'm some special stuff I'm going to keep for our people. Anyway. Okay, so Joseph wrote on to say, the issue I'm having is both properties have separate addresses, but are listed on the same deed. The 2 properties were purchased separately at a tax auction in 2009 with separate deeds and then sold to the current owner on one deed. All legit. This is nothing wrong here.
So far, so good.
Yeah. I want to split the properties up and sell them separately on 2 different purchase agreements and deeds. I've heard of this being done before, but I'm unfamiliar with the process. Is this more of a hassle than it's worth, or is it simply recording 2 properties instead of 1 with a county recorder? Any advice or guidance given would be greatly appreciated. Would you like to go, or would you like me to go?
Yeah, I can really simplify this in 1 or 2 sentences. What you are purchasing, you are purchasing APNs, assessors, parcels, numbers. They can be, Jill and I have literally purchased 1,100 properties on one deed, 1,100 APNs. And then you're welcome to sell them all separately.
One by one, or 2 or 3.
Where the confusion comes is, and it's all ingrained in our brain with car titles. You can't have two cars on a car title. You just don't. You have a separate title for each one. You can have thousands of properties on a single deed, and then sell them individually. There's no issues. There's not a person on this planet that's going to disagree with what I just said.
Right. There's nothing special about it. You just if the one buyer wants to buy them both, great. You do one deed, and if you have 2 different buyers, you do a deed for this one and a deed for that one. That's it. My thing too is you want to, when you record properties, everybody wants to do it right. If you're buying multiple properties or selling multiple properties, you don't want them on individual deeds anyway, because you don't want to pay the recording fees over and over and over again.
It costs $15 or $20 or $25 to record a property, right? Are those numbers accurate these days?
30.
It's 30?
Yeah.
God, when I started doing this, it was $5.
Yeah.
$3 and $5.
Yeah, it's not that cheap anymore, but it's still not. It's not expensive. But if you're selling 10 properties to someone, times $30, that's $300 when you just put them on one deed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Today's topic: Zoom cities are the present and the future. This is the meat of the show. What's a Zoom city, Jill?
A Zoom city is a city within a day's drive or a couple of hours outside of a major city, so you can easily access your office if you need to, kind of thing. That's how I describe them. Like, like we were just saying, Park City, Utah would be a Zoom city for Salt Lake. What if my company that I work for is in Salt Lake, but I'm remote now? I can be Zoom. I'm on Zoom
You're
all
on
day
Zoom.
long, doing my thing. And if anything happens, there's a meeting I have to be present at. Heaven forbid my internet's down, something like that. I can hop in the car and drive to the office.
You know, I wonder why you look so much better in all these videos than I do. Like, you know, at the lighting we literally took. Jill found this fantastic VRBO here in Park City, and they're using track lighting for their decorations and stuff, which I reversed and to use lighting for the show. And Jill looks all pretty and like her hair's nice, and I look like I aged like.
I don't see
It's
that.
just too bright for me. I got to change it.
Okay, well,
Not
turn
right
your
now.
lights off for you a little bit.
So Park City is a fantastic example of a Zoom city, which is one of the reasons we came here to check it out. So you can access it's 30, maybe 20 minutes to the airport. So if you need to go somewhere for meetings, even a couple times a week, no problem at all. Check. It's less than a day's drive from the following cities that these are just a short list: San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, obviously Salt Lake,
Less than a day's drive?
Denver.
Okay, I thought you said an hour's drive.
Oh, sorry,
Day.
less than a day's drive. Jeez, Denver. I don't probably Boise. You know, and I can keep going. I don't know about Portland, and I don't know about Seattle. Seattle might be
Yeah.
kind of far, but it's
I think
a lot.
you get the idea.
And another example is Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe has almost virtually no inventory right now from a housing standpoint because everybody fled San Francisco
You could say Sedona is a Zoom city for Phoenix.
or Flagstaff.
All kinds of things like that.
So it's these second home cities that are now becoming, people traditionally had second homes here in these places. Now they're becoming primary homes. I just read an article about how people are moving into their second homes and selling their primary houses.
With their kids, and I don't think they necessarily like that.
And doing like major updates. And did you see this thing about there's a run on refrigerators?
I had not read that, no.
So in the beginning it was
That's
toilet
funny.
paper and paper towels and stuff.
Refrigerators?
Yeah, there's backlog like 2 months.
That's hilarious.
Can't get a refrigerator
I did not know that.
because everybody's
Are they buying bigger refrigerators?
bigger refrigerators,
Deep
and they're just
freezer,
everybody's
maybe?
working at home. Kids are staying at home going from school.
They're cooking more, that's for
Yeah.
sure. That's really true.
It's not just refrigerators. That's the example they use. It's all appliances.
That's wild. That's really funny. I did not know that. So I love it. I mean, this.
So what
I
is-
would argue that this needed to happen, and this COVID just spread it up.
That's what I would argue.
Or
It was going to happen.
Not spread it up. Go. Sped it up. Excuse me.
It was going to happen anyway. COVID just times 10'd it.
It did. And I'm glad. We used to say that in our own office. Oh, we'll never be remote. There's no way this would work. Our people need
I remember that.
management. They need attention. They just.
And about February of this year, we were saying that.
And then we all went remote. And now it's really optional.
You know what really
And-
happened is we were focusing on one or two people and it turns out they couldn't handle it. We sent everybody home like everybody else, every other employer. And there were two specific people who could not handle working at home. They weren't responsible enough. And they're not with us anymore, and everybody else is killing it.
Some people do need interaction. But the point is, our whole business can run this way. I wasn't sure about it. So we're spending a couple $1,000s a month that I know we're going to look at in 2021
For office rent.
after we're a year into this or less, when we kind of regroup and see, do we need this office? This is what I would like to see. Since we're talking about Zoom cities, would be my business model. We have all these WeWork kind of situations. I don't want a monthly commitment, but I wouldn't mind a once a month optional boardroom that I could rent.
Mm-hmm.
I might even, I'm sitting here brainstorming myself. It's like, okay, so let's just say we're 100% remote. We shut down our office. Everybody works from home. Zoom city situation. I don't care where they are. I think it would be really beneficial. I know our people and I know us. We're all very social. that we would benefit greatly from having an in-person meeting
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
I might even I'm throwing ideas out there. If you're in my shoes, this is something to consider. I might even just rent a hotel room or a hotel conference
I was
room.
going to say the same thing. Or
For a day
in
or
our
a
case,
couple
our
hours.
primary residence is pretty large, and it's set up on floors, so we could actually do it on our bottom floor, which
We
is
may
kind
not
of like
even be there, though.
a recreation area. Yeah.
You know, who
I'm
knows
just
where?
saying right now.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things that you can do. I just love this remote thing, and I just love how lucky are we that our business allows this. What if we could be, you know, we could own a restaurant.
Yeah.
We could own. There's so many things we could be doing with our lives right now, and thank goodness for us that we are real estate people. We're investors. We're traditionally buying 3 states over. That's what Land Academy is all about. I'm going where the numbers make sense. I'm not going where I'm sitting necessarily. Right. So I don't have to be it. I don't have to see it. We already have all the tools. I can do all my due diligence. No change.
So what does this mean, Zoom cities are present and future, for us as land investors and real estate investors? If you look up the zip codes where these cities are, like Truckee, California, or Park City, or there's, you know, like Traverse City, Michigan's a Zoom city, and just apply the regular red, green, yellow test in the zip codes in that area, and you're going to be blown away at how the prices that are, how low the inventory is, how much the prices have risen in the last 12 months, month over month, year over year. And so those are always great places to buy property and resell it quickly, because the demand is continually going up. The only issue is, and this is always an issue, not just during these strange positive times / negative times, whatever they are, you don't want to be caught with too much inventory if it all goes south. So I'm just saying, look into these places. I would heavily suggest that you invest in them, but don't have too much inventory in case some stuff goes south.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe even in one place.
I would also argue that these Zoom cities are packed full of people that have jobs that have weathered this COVID thing. So
Right.
they're people that their income is pretty stable. They can work from remotely, and usually these types of jobs, computer type jobs, are not low-paying jobs. So I think
true.
that the worse things get out there, the better shape these Zoom cities are probably going to be in.
Mm-hmm. Super interesting.
Hey Jill, are you happy that they could join us today?
I am happy. I was just about to say that. Thank you. Monday through Friday, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Tomorrow, the episode of the Land Academy Show is called Fear of Success, Defined by Jill. You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Again, this topic came from Jill and I were a guest on a show, and the guy's saying, why he kept asking us in different ways, why don't you think why doesn't everybody get it? Why don't they just run out and start buying and selling land or real estate or whatever?
Yeah, what's the one thing you say that holds people back from doing something like this?
She immediately said,
mine, like,
fear.
Hands down, fear. And I'll explain more tomorrow.
I was really surprised by that answer. I do want to
Thank you.
look forward to talking about it.
I'm happy.
The fire's fine this time.
It's gorgeous. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please zip over to YouTube and check out our channel, and please hit the subscribe button.
We're Steven Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.